Let us study about the cache memory. Cache memory. Basically, a cache memory is a very small and fast memory placed in between the CPU and main memory. I will show you. Here is the CPU and here is the cache memory and here is the main memory. If CPU wants any data from the main memory, it asks with the cache memory. If cache memory consists of that particular data required by the CPU, then data is directly moved to the CPU. If cache memory does not have the data required by the CPU, then CPU wants request for the main memory for that data. The time complexity of data exchange between the CPU and main memory is greater. So the cache memory is used. So the cache memory is the very fast memory placed between the CPU and the main memory. For example, if cache memory doesn't have the data required by the CPU, then it asks for the main memory and it will store the data required by the CPU. Basically, the cache memory, its job is to store the frequently used instruction and data so that CPU can access them much faster than going to the RAM. In single word, the cache memory is a memory where CPU can work faster if the data present in the cache memory. Let us see in details. Let's see how cache memory works. CPU, cache memory, and main memory. If CPU want any data or instruction which is stored in the cache memory, it CPU request for cache memory. See here, CPU asks for data. Data is in cache, then it is called as cache hit. It is faster. If data is not in the cache, then it is called as cache miss. Data is fetched from the RAM main memory, random access memory. If CPU wants some data or instruction, it asks for cache memory. If cache memory consists of data, it gives to the CPU. If cache memory not have the data or instruction which is required by the CPU, then cache memory again asks for main memory and it stores a copy of that instruction or data for future use. Next comes the levels of the cache memory. There are three levels in cache memory: L1 cache, L2 cache, and L3 cache. Level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 cache is present inside the CPU core and it is fastest among all three levels of caches and it is smallest one. And L2 cache. L2 cache is inside the CPU or nearer to the core. It is fastest, but L1 is the more faster than the L2. And size of L2 is medium, but the L1 size is smallest. L2 size is greater than the L1 size. Next, L3 cache. L3 shares L3 cache is a shared memory among cores, slower than L2. L1 is faster cache and L2 is fast, not that much of L1 cache, but L3 cache is slower than L2, but its size is largest than all three cache.